I just filled in my gas. It was about $55 for almost a full tank. Boston is famous for many things, but affordable living, unfortunately, is not one of them. Like many other cities in the Northeast region, Boston cost of living is much higher than the national average. So before you book that moving company, watch this video from the beginning to the end, because I will give you actual cost of living and I will show you prices and everything, so you will make a decision if Boston is for you or not. This is Nune and Boston Area Homes. If you're new here, I talk about Boston, about suburbs and the real estate. So if it's something that interests you, consider subscribing. Boston was ranked 4th most expensive city in US by cost of living after New York, San Francisco, Honolulu. And by another estimate, Boston was number 31st most expensive city in the world. It is really in the top 1% of most expensive cities. Regardless of what the numbers say and what all the rankings say, there's no denying that Boston is a very expensive city. But you will probably find that Boston is totally worth it. It is currently 121st best place to live in the world, which places it in the top 2% of cities worldwide. New York Times lists the best cities for Generation Z, and Boston is number 3. And 2022 Wallet Hub ranking of the best states in the United States, Massachusetts came as the top place for the best state to live in. Another factor to keep in mind is that Boston salaries are much higher than the national average. 22% of the population holds advanced degrees. It's a fast-growing job market, and most of it is in high-paying jobs such as technology, medicine, and finance. The average salary is $77,000, which is actually higher than New York City, which has a much higher cost of living. The good thing about food is there is no tax on groceries, but in general, food expense is 24% higher than the national average. And here are some average prices. You know, those are from the internet, but when you go to the store, sometimes it's a different story because every store has their own prices. So I went to the Star Market and these are the prices that I found. At a restaurant, depending on where you're going, can range from $15 per meal to $40 per meal for a mid-level restaurant, but there are many high-end restaurants in Boston, so it can go much higher. There are many free events in Boston that you can join and get your entertainment or exercise. Boston Common or the Charles River Esplanade has many options for you to run, to walk, to exercise, and also for entertainment. Because there are about 35 colleges in the area, there are many student theater events and concerts that you can attend that are either very inexpensive or are free. Watch my video about interesting things to do in Boston. A gym membership is $72. A yoga class on average is $20 a month. A movie theater ticket is $14 per person. Transportation cost is 31.8% higher than the national average. Gas prices right now, they are lower than $4, which is awesome. One-way subway, which we call T subway ticket, is $2.40. You can get a day pass for $11, and Link Pass is $90 a month, which will give you unlimited access to subways, commuter rails, buses, and the ferries. In many neighborhoods in Boston, you also have to think about the parking price, because sometimes the building doesn't have a free parking, so you have to rent parking, and that can range from $135 a month to $530 a month. Well, let's talk about housing, which is my favorite topic. Rents have been going up like crazy recently. So if you want to rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Boston proper, it can go as high as $3,300 $375. In the close suburbs, median rent price for a nice looking two-bedroom house is about $2,800. If you want to buy, the median sale price in Boston proper is $714,000. But that includes all different parts and neighborhoods of Boston, so take it with a grain of salt. If you want a really nice looking 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo or a single family house in Boston, you have to think much higher. It can go as far as 2-3 million. If you're looking in Seaport, it can be 6-7 million. If you're looking at Dorchester, it can be much lower than 714,000. So there's a huge gap in the prices. I have helped thousands of families who are moving from different states to Boston, and I'll be happy to discuss with you what the more affordable neighborhoods in Boston are, or what suburbs are making more sense. All my contact information is in the description below. Let's talk about property taxes. The estimated value of a property is called an assessment. The property tax is based on the assessed value. Residential tax in Boston proper is $10.88 per thousand. So for a house that is valued by assessor as 1.3 million, the tax will be $8,034 per year without residential exemption. The fiscal year starts July 1st and goes until June 30th. Property taxes are billed on a quarterly basis. The property taxes cannot jump more than 2.5% year over year. Tax rates are different in different towns. So let's take Belmont, which is a close suburb of Boston. Tax rate is $11.56. And in Lexington, another close suburb, is $13.80 per thousand. On the other hand, there's a sales tax, which is 6.25% of the sales price. What about utilities? Well, utilities in Boston are 77% higher than national average because Boston winters are very cold and Boston summers are very hot. So you are spending a lot of money on the utility bills. Well, if you're moving to Boston, you really need to stay healthy because healthcare is another expense, a big expense in Boston. Doctor's visit is $149. Dentist visit is $128 and optometrist visit is $140 on average. I hope you enjoyed this video. Download my relocation guide. The link is in the description, and also visit my website nunekay.com for much more information about buying and selling in the Boston area, and you can search for homes there too.